In this video, you're going to spend exactly 24 hours inside my OnlyFans agency as a manager now living in Bangkok. And I thought it would be really interesting to do this format again, since my agency has evolved a lot in terms of results, processes, and the team as well. So as you'll see, there have been quite a few changes, so make sure to watch until the end. Of course, I'll be showing you with complete transparency the results we currently have in my OnlyFans agency. So as of June 24th, you should know that right now, well, it's Tuesday. For me, you should know that every Monday, my chat manager tells me exactly how much I need to pay each chatter. He will, of course, ask each chatter to confirm, just to make sure they agree with the amount, so there are no issues, no mistakes, and ultimately nothing forgotten on our end. And so that's how it works. And on Tuesdays, I take about 10 or 15 minutes to pay absolutely everyone, our chat manager, all our chatters, and also our assistant. By the way, I'll tell you a bit more about that later. We recently hired an assistant who is already extremely helpful. So now I'm going to take care of paying all of them, and that's going to take a little while, but honestly, it's pretty quick. For paying all my chatters who are either from Africa or from Madagascar, use TapTapSend. So I pay them between 10 and 14% of the revenue for the chatters. And then for the chatter manager, depending on the models, it's between 3 and 6% or 4 and 7%. And that's what it's like to work with someone who is reliable. As you can see, it's really not bad because it's super well detailed. And it's nicey at least this way. There are no mistakes afterwards, so that's cool. So it's all good. As you can see, I've started paying all the chatters. There are still a few left who we just recruited, so of course I don't have their TapTapSend details yet, but as you can see, the average salary is 18 euros per week in Benin and 79 euros per month. Why am I telling you this? I'll turn the camera around and explain. Actually, you should know that there are way too many people who say that in OFM, for example, we take advantage of people who are in somewhat less privileged countries. Well, the truth is, as for my chatters, I'll tell you exactly for 1 week, since I pay them, every week while my chatters, some of them, the ones who are paid the least, let's say, earn about $30-something. So in the end, that's about 1.5 times the average salary, even for those who earn the least. And for example, my best chatter made a little over $120 in just 1 week. So here, knowing that the average salary is $25 per week, he made maybe, I'd say 5 times his average salary in just 1 week. And so in the end, we're really not taking advantage of them at all. The thing is, in fact, we're actually allowing them to have a job at home. They're safe. They're not taking any risks. That's it. It's just being behind the screen. I mean, health-wise, well, it's not ideal because they're behind a screen, they're not standing or anything, but at least it's not exhausting at all. And in fact, they can earn up to 4 or 5 times their average salary. So I don't know if you really realize just how powerful that is, but by the way, I'll also be making a video about it soon. Now, I'm even going to make some short talk videos where I really just speak to you openly about a topic in OnlyFans, where I think there's quite a lot to say. For example, I'm also going to talk about the fact that you really need to bring a human touch, into your team. For instance, my chatters are really happy. For example, I'm going to read you some feedback from my chatters. So for example, I have Oriole, who is actually a woman from Africa, and she told me, "Thank you so much, that's really kind," and so on. Anyway, so it's pretty cool, and basically all this is to say, and for example, I even have another one, Carly, by the way, if you're watching this, hello to you, who told me, "Thank you for your punctuality, it's admirable." And it's true that before, I didn't do that. I didn't pay the chatters every week and so on. It was really shaky. But actually, you need a structure, you have to be professional, you have to be responsive. You have to pay people no matter what every week, and especially on the same date, so that they really get a short-term reward. They'll see that we're not here to rip them off or anything, and in fact, it's going to be much better in the long run. That's why I get along really well with all my chatters. Yesterday, we even had a chatter call with, well, all the chatters, my partners, my chatter manager. The call lasted about an hour and a half, and there you go, every week we have a call once a week. Before, we didn't do that, and it's super interesting. So in any case, it's really relevant. And I think it's essential to build a strong team in the long term, one that makes money and is close-knit. That's what we want, a team that's united. So there you go. Once again, as you can see, we pay our employees at the agency really well. So they're not actually employees, they're freelancers, but we pay them really well compared to their average salary. And on top of that, we offer them pretty pleasant working conditions. They work 8 hours a day, so that's obviously a normal work day. And of course, they have a 30-minute break that they can take whenever they want. There's someone behind them to help and support them, the manager chatter, and we're also there if they need anything. All of that is important. And that's why it's actually very rare for my chatters to live on their own. Very often, it's either us who stop them because we see that they're really not coachable and they're not applying anything at all, so they don't improve. Otherwise, it's simply an external issue. For example, I have a chatter who almost had to stop this week. He only chatted for 2 days because he has malaria. So wishing him strength. But really, that's the only reason. It's really just accidents in the end that make chatters leave. when they're well paid, working with good models, and have a good workspace, and of course the inflow, which I haven't mentioned yet, but it's extremely important. For each model, we create several scripts and so on. In short, we have an entire setup designed to optimize their work. All right, now on to the second task of the day. So I grabbed a few of my phones, and what am I going to do? So here, actually, we have quite a few models, especially several who are just starting out, including one for whom I created an Instagram account yesterday. So I set up the account, I added a profile picture, a bio, some highlight stories, and posts. So there you go. I put everything up all at once right from the start because I don't want to waste time scheduling everything over several days. Now that's something you can do. And well, for me, I mainly make sure to have an Instagram account that looks pretty nice right from the beginning. Even if it means posting everything on the same day, honestly, I don't think that really kills conversions. Maybe we lose 1 or 2 guys out of 100, maybe even 2 or 3, but honestly, I don't think it's a big deal at all. Especially knowing that there will never be, in any case, millions of people coming to my account every day. So yeah, it's not a big deal. And in any case, at least this way, it's actually going to convert much better right from the start because the account will already have all of that. So well, all of those photos, exactly. I've noticed that guys are much more likely to subscribe when there are a lot of photos rather than if there's nothing at the beginning, then they just won't subscribe. So in a way, it takes away a bit of conversion at first, but then it kind of brings some back, you could say. So I think it's still beneficial overall. And so with this model, since we also stopped working with one recently, well, every few days, we always have phones and accounts, and we either have to abandon them or put another model on them. So now I'm switching out the model. So actually it's simple. Here I have this phone where, well, I have an Instagram account that I created yesterday, and I like to brand it. Like yesterday, I'll add highlights to the story and make a post. And there you go. So as soon as it's done, I'll let you know. Normally it takes, I think, a good 10 or 15 minutes because I still put a minimum amount of effort into the description and so on for the posts. I don't just put an emoji. I make sure to write something interesting, natural, and spontaneous, something a real person would actually do. And that's also what I teach you, whether it's on my channel or even in my programs. It's really about, well, ultimately creating social media accounts for your models, as if they weren't necessarily models. There's really an art direction to adopt. That's it. So that's pretty cool. And on top of that, this model has a really, really unique Nikashi's kind of in the gothic niche and so on. So that's cool. Same here, I've never done that before, but she really has something extra and, well, she has a great look and so on. She has good assets, so that's pretty cool. So let's go. I'm creating the Insta account. By the way, what you should know is that now with our models, we actually have them manage an Instagram account. Why is that? Simply because, first of all, they're going to feel and actually be much more invested, right? For example, if tomorrow they're short on reels, that is, if we don't have enough reels, and they don't have an account and we tell them, okay, we need some reels, they'll just say, okay, I'll do it. But if they have an account that they manage and they run out of reels to post, they'll feel guilty themselves. And as a result, they'll be more motivated to work. And also because we're here to grow within a framework where, well, actually we're a team, so we all move forward together. And that way it gives us one more pillar to rely on, right? If, for example, there are 2 of us as partners and, well, both our Instagram accounts, if each of us has an Instagram account, get restricted, at least the model will be able to handle the traffic. And that's really the best. So I'm going to show you directly the account, for example, that I created yesterday for this model and that I gave to her. So the account is really great because on top of that, well, we created it just a few days ago in Thailand, and obviously with a really good setup, otherwise we wouldn't have gotten these kinds of results. But you'll see with the first video, honestly, it's amazing. That is to say, right now the account only has 5 followers, and as for the first video, so I'm going to show you the Instagram account directly. Here, I'll let you take a look for a moment, but the video, I think you can see it. It has about 2,526 views. So the video was posted about, well, 17 hours ago. So that's really great. So there you have it. Once again, there's no secret when you create good content, when you have a good model, and especially a good warm-up, well, it naturally gets views. And after that, you'll get a ton of traffic and maximize your results on OnlyFans. Okay, so now I'm also going to explain a bit. We've hired an assistant manager. What is their role? So our Basil, well, what does our Basil do? First of all, how did we find him? So I asked my creator manager if he knew someone trustworthy, because we're starting to have quite a few models now. And, well, obviously, there are actually a lot of recurring tasks, whether it's posting photos on the OF feeds, editing reels, or scheduling follow-up messages on Inflow. For us, we send 2 messages per day to each model during the week, and on weekends we go up to 4. We make about 1 reel per day per model, and each one is filmed 4 times every time. Anyway, it still ends up being a workload that is quite considerable, and of course it takes up a lot of our time along with our partners. And actually these aren't really high value added tasks, meaning that doing this doesn't bring us much value, if you will. It's something we can easily delegate for not much money. So we found someone trustworthy through our creator manager, Emmanuel, who is actually going to take care of all these tasks. So what exactly are these tasks? For now, there are 4 of them. Of course, we'll gradually give him more tasks, but for now, we're taking it slow. And by the way, we pay him about $300 a month, which is actually pretty good for his country. And for us, it's reasonable too. So yeah, just so you know, it still takes him a few hours a day. At first, of course, it takes him a little bit of time, but what exactly is he going to do? Well, he handles the editing of all our reels, scheduling follow-up messages on inflow, managing and posting on OnlyFans basically for the feed. Then he also does data reporting for us, meaning that every day he tells us for the previous day and for each model, the net revenue, the number of new subscribers we gained, and therefore the LTV, so the average basket size. This way, we can know, for example, if yesterday for this particular model, the chatting was good, but the traffic wasn't, and so on. It allows us to immediately see where we need to focus our efforts, especially now that we have far fewer tasks to handle since we've delegated the chatting, right? So we've delegated all those little tasks here and there. So what does that actually leave us to do? It's mastering the traffic. That's why we don't have a VA. We're already 3 partners, and honestly, we don't need a VA for now. And we're already making about 25 to 30K per month. By the way, I'll show you the current result in just a moment. Today is June 24th, and you'll see we're still generating revenue. We don't need a VA because we can dedicate all our time to traffic. And now, on top of that, I've completely overhauled my processes. All my phones have been reset from A to Z. I've started with new setups, and honestly, also with new accounts. Honestly, I'll show you a bit as well. It's crazy how easy it is to get views on Instagram when everything is set up properly, when you have good content, a good model, and so on. All right, let's go. I'll show you directly the results we have on inflow, keeping in mind that today is June 24th, so it's 1 a.m. French time. So over in Bangkok, it's 5 hours ahead, so it's 4:11 p.m. So there you go. This week, it's Tuesday, and we're at 2,700. I'll show you a bit. There you go. Today, 11 a.m. at $80. Not a big deal. They didn't sell much after midnight last night, but it's not a problem. The reality is there are days like this too, 718 as well. It's definitely not our best day, especially since this month we've had days around 1,500, so that's pretty cool. In any case, for the month today is June 24th. We're at 23,488 for the month. So that's great. The goal, obviously, as you might guess, is to reach 1K per day, which means $1,000 a day, so 30K per month. And that way, next month, we'll aim for 40, 50K. In any case, I'm going to document everything for you on my YouTube channel. So if you like this honesty, this authenticity, and also the value sharing that I really try to do well, subscribe to the channel. Also, I'd like to show you this account, which is brand new. Look, I've posted 3 reels. The first reel has 200 views. I can't manage. Okay, I can't really. We're at about 260 views. Then we're at 1,652 and then 890. So there you go. Honestly, the stats speak for themselves. I'm going to show you on another phone right now. Okay, now take a look at this account. This is actually the account I showed in the last video where I explained how to make a reel with 1 million views. Here we have this one with 1 million views, this one with 108,000, and here 36,000. And by the way, check out the last 2 reels, they're pretty cool. Here we have 111,000 views, and here 173,000 views. So honestly, that's really not bad at all. I'll try to zoom in for you. As you can see, 111,000 views, 173,000 views. Honestly, it's not complicated when you have good content, and of course, a model who's motivated and hardworking. Okay, now what am I going to do? I'm going to grab a little Starbucks coffee to wake myself up a bit, and then I'll get started on the day's reels on all my phones. That means I'll go into each model's drive to retrieve the reels edited by my assistant, and then I'll upload them to each of my Insta accounts along with the CTA story. After that, we'll move on to a warm-up. Since I have 1 account per phone and just 1 phone, that means I have 2 accounts. So I told myself I would do 30 minutes of warm-up on each phone. And so if I have 1 account, that means I'll do 30 minutes on 1 account. If I have 2 accounts, that means I'll make 15 per account. This allows me to get really good results and above all, a setup that's truly perfect. So that's basically it. And also, that's the beauty, of course, of where we are today. It's that we've delegated quite a lot of things. As you can see, I don't work 10 hours a day on my agency. Yet, we're still generating quite a lot of revenue. Obviously, we're going to scale up. So right now I'm still spending more time, and I'm also doing quite a few things behind the scenes. Today, I can show you everything because I'm also testing new strategies, some pretty interesting things for now. But I'll only talk about those once I have good results with them and they're truly validated. But there you go. It's true that there's quite a bit of coal, but still to really keep the agency running, it's not like each of us is working 10 hours a day, especially since there are 3 of us and we've delegated quite a few tasks. In any case, that's also what I teach you to do in my OFM Pro strategy program. By the way, for those who are interested, it will be available in the description of this video. You can either get my training course or my coaching program that includes the training. If you really want to go further and make 300 euros a day with OFM, don't hesitate. All right, I've got all my reels back. I just posted them and now I'm doing my warm-up. I'm going to show you a bit of the warm-up, how it works. But overall, I've already made quite a few videos about it. I think by now you're starting to understand at least the importance of the warm-up, which to me is essential for really getting good reach on Instagram today with your OnlyFans models. So that's a bit about how you can make your warm-up profitable. That way it allows me to do 5 phones in one. It's really the best. Obviously, we only keep the French reels that have at least 100 likes, and the idea is to do just that. What I do is about 15 minutes per account, or since on this phone I have 2 accounts, otherwise it's 1. For this one I do 15 minutes, and for the others I do 30, since it doesn't cost anything. And in any case, since I have to spend 30 minutes anyway, I might as well do 30 minutes on different accounts, and the results are really great. In any case, I really recommend you try a long and solid warm-up every day, and you'll honestly see the difference right away if you weren't doing it before. There you go, that's done. So I finished my warm-up on all my phones. I've started posting, by the way, I even have a video on one account that's already at 800 views, and that account has about 3,200 followers. 800 views in 15 minutes. That's really great. That's just perfect. But again, good content, good model, honestly. It's not complicated to get stats on Instagram Reels these days. For me, this is my specialty now, and it's especially what I cover in my program. What I teach isn't just Instagram, but really all things organic threads, TikTok, really everything that involves organic growth, which I believe is most powerful today. For anyone who would like to generate 300 euros a day with OFM in less than 90 days, my training or my coaching and training will be available in the description for those who are interested. I will personally help you generate up to 300 euros a day. As you've seen, we average $1,000 a day, so I think I'm credible enough to teach you how to make $300 a day, which still adds up to $9,000 a month with just one OnlyFans model, so that's pretty cool. If you enjoyed the video, don't hesitate to like it, leave a comment telling me what you thought, and also subscribe. Alright, bye!